obvious that the New Orleans Saints are trying to turn the page on an era that has been synonymous with the team and in what many Saints fans would consider the greatest era in all of Saints football. They are saying goodbye to some mainstays and guys that have been considered fan favorites throughout the years. And one player in particular is Taysom Hill. Now, when the media spoke to general manager Mickey Loomis, they asked him, did they offer Taysom Hill a new contract? And Mickey Loomis simply said no, which means that it's more than likely that the New Orleans Saints are saying goodbye to one of the most beloved players in their franchise history. And in my opinion, one of the greatest football players to ever play the game. And I know when I say that, some people would probably roll their eyes, but let's really pay attention to what Taysom Hill has been to not only the New Orleans Saints, but the entire National Football League. When we talk about the greatest players of all time, we're talking about a player that plays one particular position really, really well. When we talk about Drew Brees, we think about all of the yards that he put up from the quarterback position. When we talk about guys like Reggie White, we think about how he dominated in the trenches as a defensive end or an edge rusher. But we're talking about a guy in Taysom Hill that was an overachiever. He wasn't a first overall pick or a guy that was drafted in the first round. He was a player that Sean Payton saw on film that stood out when he was looking at another. And he signed him to the New Orleans Saints roster, and he became a mainstay. They put him in multiple positions, and every position that Taysom Hill played, he did it well. On special teams, he blocked punts and returned kicks, and it made an impact. When they put him in at quarterback, he threw the football, made plays, and also was able to do things in an RPO game. And then later on, when the Saints shipped him to tight end, he made plays at that position as well. You have to go back to a bygone era when we're talking about Taysom Hill with records that he broke. Guys like John David Crow, who played in the 1950s, and guys like Frank Gifford, who most people probably remember for being in a broadcast booth than playing for the New York Giants. That is what Taysom Hill has been for the National Football League. That is what he has done in a Saints uniform. And not only that, he carved out a lane for himself where he had no business being in the NFL as long as he did. You have teams that are trying to mimic some of the things that Taysom Hill has done in the NFL. If this is the last time we see Taysom Hill in a Saints uniform or in the NFL in general, I think that he made an